Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan.
And welcome to Connecting the Dots, brought to you by the Snarful Solutions Group right here in Sacramento.
We are wrapping up the week with some pretty historic news, honestly.
We really are. But before we get to the digital headlines, we have to talk about what is happening outside the window.
It is Friday, January 23rd, 2026. And depending on where you're tuning in from, you might want to pour an extra cup of coffee and just stay put.
Oh, seriously. If you've looked at the weather maps, we're dealing with a massive winter storm.
This isn't just a dusting.
No, this is a significant long-duration event. We're looking at a system stretching all the way from the southern Rockies right up to New England.
Yeah, the National Weather Service is using some pretty intense language.
Mm-hmm.
They're calling for heavy snow, sleet, and freezing rain.
The real concern is that combination of precipitation and the temperature drop. There's this dangerous cold expanding from the north-central U.S. all the way down to the southern plains.
So travel is going to be a nightmare, and power outages are, unfortunately, very likely in those corridors.
And here in Sacramento, no snow, but we can barely see the street. We have a dense fog advisory in effect until 11:00 a.m. this morning.
So whether it's ice or fog, please take it slow out there.
Okay, let's check the markets before we jump into the tech news. A bit of a mixed bag yesterday.
The Dow Jones took a bit of a stumble, closing down about 117 points. It finished the day at 49,147.41.
But the S&P 500, it actually managed to buck that trend. It squeaked out a win, closing up just under 4 points to sit at 6,911.78.
And for anyone watching the crypto charts, Bitcoin is sliding just a little bit this morning. It's trading around 88,899, so down roughly 0.5%.
All right, before we open up our Morning Star, that's our Snarful Tech article report, we got to give a shout out to our sponsor, Old Glory.
If you're looking for that perfect gift, for a music lover or a sports fan, you have to check out Old Glory. They are the iconic merch store.
I was on our site last night, and they have incredible stuff, even for that techie friend who just loves a good vintage band tee.
Oh, absolutely. And they're hooking our listeners up. You can use the promo code SNARFL at checkout.
And that gets you 15% off your entire purchase. So that's promo code SNARFL.
Just check them out at oldglory.com.
Okay, let's get into it. Today is the day.
The bedline day.
The literal drop-dead date. We've been talking about a potential ban on TikTok in the U.S. since, 2020?
It feels like forever. It's been this looming cloud over the app for years.
And today, January 23rd, was that final cutoff. And wouldn't you know it, just like a college student turning in a term paper at 11:59 p.m.
They got it done. They took it right down to the wire.
But the headline is, TikTok is not banned, the app is staying, but the company running it is completely different than it was 24 hours ago.
Right. They finalized this massive joint venture deal that restructures the entire U.S. operation.
Okay, so let's connect the dots on this structure because the devil's in the details. Who actually owns TikTok in the U.S. now?
The new company is officially called TikTok USDS Joint Venture LLC.
That's a mouthful.
It is.
Yeah.
But the ownership split is the real story. American and global investors now own 80.1% of the U.S. operations.
And ByteDance, the original Chinese parent company.
They're still there, but they only retain a 19.9% minority stake.
Wow. That is a massive shift in control. So when you say investors, who are we talking about here?
It's a specific consortium. The three big managing investors are Oracle,
Okay.
Silver Lake, and MGX.
MGX, that's the investment firm based out of Abu Dhabi, right?
That's the one. So you've got U.S. heavyweights like Oracle and Silver Lake, and then MGX. Each of those three holds a 15% stake.
And then other investors, like the Dell family office, fill out the rest.
Exactly. So the money has changed hands. The equity has, anyway.
Which brings up the next question. Does the leadership change, too? I mean, if you change the owners but keep the same boss.
That matters, right. And yes, they're overhauling the board. It'll have 7 members, majority American.
And a new CEO.
A new CEO for the joint venture, yes. Adam Presser. He was the head of operations, so he knows the company inside and out.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about Shozin Chu, the global CEO we've all seen testifying before Congress?
He's still in the picture, which is interesting. He'll sit on the board of this new U.S. venture, but he's still the global CEO. So there's still a link.
It's fascinating they pulled this off. I mean, think about the political whiplash.
I know. You had the first Trump administration trying to ban it. Then the Biden administration signed the actual law requiring the sale.
And now we're back in a second Trump term, and he's signing the orders to make this deal happen. It's been a bipartisan headache for 6 years.
It really has. But this deal saves the app for, 170 to 200 million American users.
Can you imagine the chaos if that app just shut down today? I feel like office productivity would have skyrocketed, but morale would have just cratered.
We'd have seen riots in the streets.
Yeah.
But let's pivot, because the corporate stuff is just paperwork for the average user.
Right.
What people really care about is the app going to change?
This is where it gets really interesting. And the short answer is probably. And it all comes down to the secret sauce.
The algorithm.
Exactly. This wasn't just about moving money. It was a national security deal. And as part of that, the TikTok recommendation algorithm, the thing that decides what you see next, is going to be completely retrained.
Retrained exclusively on U.S. user data.
Let's unpack that. Retrained. Does that mean it just forgets everything it knew before?
In a sense, yeah, for the U.S. market.
Yeah.
The whole point is to make sure the feed is free from what the government calls outside manipulation.
So all the data is going into Oracle's US-based cloud. Oracle is the trusted security partner here, reviewing the source code.
They're essentially building a digital wall around the U.S. data.
So the brain of TikTok in the US is getting, a reboot?
Yeah.
And then retaught using only American inputs.
That's a pretty good way to put it. And analysts are saying this is going to lead to a vibe shift. Kelsey Chickering from Forrester actually predicts the feed might start to feel distinctly American.
Distinctly American. I'm trying to picture what that even looks like. Does that mean we won't see viral trends from Europe or Asia anymore?
Not that you won't see them, but they probably won't dominate the For You page in the same way.
Okay, so explain that.
Well, right now, if a dance blows up in Seoul, the global algorithm sees that velocity and pushes it to users in New York almost instantly. It's a global thing.
Right, a global zeitgeist.
Under this new system, you can still search for a creator in Tokyo, for example. That interoperability stays, but the ranking changes. The passive For You page experience will be driven by domestic data.
Ah, okay. So it's like the difference between a library and a curator. The library still has books from all over the world, but the curator, the algorithm, is only putting American books on the display table.
That's a perfect analogy. You're not cut off, but the suggestions are going to be much more local.
And that must extend to content moderation, too.
It does. The new U.S. venture takes over all moderation policies in the country. The idea is to stop any political tilting or misinformation influence from the outside.
It really feels like we're seeing the slow splintering of the internet. A splinternet.
A splinternet. I like that. It's catchy, even if it is a little dystopian.
But we have to move to our third story because we have to follow the money. And the numbers on this deal are surprising.
You're talking about the valuation.
I am. The deal values the U.S. unit at roughly $14 billion.
Okay.
Now, estimates suggest the U.S. entity alone generates about $14 billion a year in ad revenue.
So they sold the company for 1 times its revenue.
Yeah.
That sounds like a clearance sale price. Tech companies usually sell for way more. What's going on?
This is the key insight. You have to look at what was actually sold. ByteDance isn't selling the code to the algorithm.
Oh, they're licensing it.
Exactly. They kept the golden goose.
Okay, so they retain the core IP, the technology that makes TikTok.
Yeah.
They avoid a shutdown, keep a 20% stake, and just license the tech.
For ByteDance, this is a huge strategic win. If they'd been forced to sell the actual source code, the price would have been in the hundreds of billions.
But because it's a licensing deal, they're just renting out the engine.
They sold the car's body and seats, but they're leasing the engine. And that engine is going to be tuned by American mechanics now.
And it solves the political problem without them losing their crown jewel.
Speaking of politics, the reaction has been something else.
President Trump went on Truth Social almost immediately. He said he was so happy to have helped in saving TikTok. But the part that really caught my eye was that he thanked Chinese President Xi Jinping.
Which is huge, right? Because China has been very resistant to letting this kind of tech go. They have export control laws for algorithms.
Exactly. So Trump thanking Xi for approving the deal suggests there was some high-level diplomacy here.
It just shows what a geopolitical football this app has been. President Biden signed the ban law in 2024 over national security.
And now Trump, who first tried to ban it, is taking credit for saving it.
It's a rare moment where the threads of 2 different presidencies just weave together like this. The scrutiny was bipartisan. The solution is this complex deal that lets everyone claim a victory.
The U.S. government gets security oversight. ByteDance stays in the market. And the users.
The users get to keep scrolling. But the irony of selling for 1 year's revenue just proves the value isn't the user base, it's the algorithm. And they didn't put the engine in the box.
It's a fascinating case study. I'm really curious to see if my feed actually feels different next week.
It won't be overnight. Retraining an algorithm that complex has to take time.
True, but over the next few months, we might start to notice the content feels a little more familiar, a little more local.
Well, as long as I still get my cooking videos and the occasional dog doing something silly, I think I'll survive.
I think the dogs of America are safe. They will continue to provide content.
Good. That's all I ask. Okay, before we wrap up, I want to mention our second sponsor today, Skony.
Oh, yes. If you're a golfer or if you just want some incredibly comfortable and stylish shoes, you have to check out Skony.
It's spelled Skoni. They're a premium golf shoe store, but their designs are fantastic. Very modern. I see people wearing them just around the city.
And just like with Old Glory, we've got a deal for you. Use the promo code SNARFL at checkout for 15% off your entire purchase.
You can find them at skone.com.
Definitely worth a look if you're planning to hit the links once this weather clears up.
All right, let's do a quick recap. The 3 things you need to know about the TikTok deal.
Story number 1. The deal. TikTok is staying. It's now run by a joint venture, mostly owned by investors like Oracle and Silver Lake, with ByteDance keeping a minority stake.
Story number 2. The experience. The app is getting an American reboot. The algorithm is being retrained on US data only, which means your trends might start to look different from the rest of the world.
And story number 3. The money. It's valued at a surprisingly low $14 billion, but that's because ByteDance kept the core tech. They're just licensing it.
It connects the dots between tech, finance, and geopolitics in a way we rarely get to see.
It ends years of uncertainty, but it starts a whole new experiment in how the internet is governed. And it leaves us with that question. If we have different algorithms for different countries, are we still connecting with the world? Or are we just looking in a mirror?
That is a heavy thought for a Friday, but a good one.
That's what I'm here for.
Well, thank you all for tuning in to Connecting the Dots. We hope this clears things up. Stay warm out there.
Drive safe and have a great weekend.
We're here to help at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.